Hello students, welcome to Manula classes. This is Ratnakar sir, and in today's session we are going to discuss a very important topic regarding the preparation of quantitative aptitude part for your CLAT examination. Okay, now this video is equally helpful for all the students preparing for CLAT, IELTS and as well as OELTS examination, and it is commonly seen among the students that the people who are not so good in maths or not so good in aptitude in their school level, they actually fear this part more. Okay, that how they should prepare themselves for national level examination like CLAT, IELTS and OELTS. Okay, so let me clear this myth. There are various myths regarding this preparation, and we'll talk about them one by one in our discussion. Now see, there's a common myth that the people who are not good in maths will not be able to score good in the quants part for CLAT as well as IELTS and OELTS. Okay, now see, this is a total myth. Okay, this is a total myth. You have to, the main thing is you have to visualize examination from examination point of view. Okay, that is very important. Okay, no one is asking you to become an Einstein, or you should solve all the problems, or you should be very good in maths, you should score 80%, 90% in all your school and as well as board examinations to be good in quants. No, that is totally untrue. Okay, in fact, it is seen that the people who are average or maybe below average in their quantitative aptitude part, in their mathematics part, in their schools as well as in their 11 and 12 classes, they can also score very good marks in this type of examination. Okay, so now what should be the ideal strategy? How we should prepare, this exam, how we should prepare the quants part for this exam. Okay, so in today's topic, in today's lecture, we are going to discuss that. Okay. Now, before beginning, I would like to emphasize that our admissions are going for a 1-year course as well as for a 2-year course. Okay, now you can crack CLAT, you can crack or IELTS, you can crack OELTS with us. Okay, and the new batches are always available. Here. You can just log into our website www.lawentranceindia.com, and or you can call our this number 9971444054. Okay. Now let us talk about this preparation. Okay, let us talk about this quantitative aptitude part in detail. Now see, this is our whole CLAT syllabus. Okay, now if we see there are almost 150 questions. There are almost 150 questions for 150 marks, isn't it? Now if we see the syllabus breakdown, then approximately 28 to 32 questions they are asking from English language section. Okay, they are asking from English language section. For current affairs, approximately we have seen that almost 35 to 39, maybe 40 questions are asked. Okay, now from legal reasoning, from legal aptitude part, okay, approximately 35 to 39 questions are asked. Okay, in logical reasoning part, approximately 28 to 32 questions are asked, and from quantitative techniques we have seen that almost 13 to 17 questions have been asked based on past 3 to 4 years of paper. Okay, now what we will do in today's lecture is we will discuss about these two. Which comprises almost 30% of your syllabus. Okay, you can see, judging by the number of questions that they are asking out of total 150, approximately 20% weightage you can see is on logical reasoning part, and approximately 10% stress is on quantitative techniques. Okay, now first important thing, what is the main difference between this name quantitative techniques and maths which you have already done in your school level? What is the major difference? Why are not we calling it this maths only? Because the chapters will all be the same. There will be no new chapter. In reasoning you will get a new chapters, but not in maths. Okay, all the chapters which you have already done in your school level, up to your midterm, up to class 10, up to class 10 majorly, that is going to be asked, and some portions of, you can say, class 11 12, and that also only from algebra part, not from coordinate geometry, not from trigonometry, not from the calculus part. Okay. So what is the main difference? What is the main difference between maths and quantitative techniques? Okay. Now this was the basic thing that I was stressing. Maths means you have to write everything. You have to follow a logical sequence of steps to arrive at your final answer, isn't it? So if you miss any step, or if you don't know any step, or if you miss something in writing, you may lose marks in that case. But in quantitative techniques, it may happen that you do not know the complete answer. Okay, you do not know the complete number of steps also to arrive at the answer, but still somehow you have a basic understanding of the problem, and through various techniques or through various elimination methods, you can arrive at your answer, not by solving the whole problem itself. Okay, we will see that in our class, that without solving the whole problem, without following all the logical order that one should do to arrive at the conclusion, we can just take the answer by elimination or by some other techniques. Okay, and that is why this is called quantitative techniques. This thing is very important. This thing should be clear in your mind. Okay, that maths is a different thing, quantitative techniques is a different thing. Okay, if you are good in maths, you will be very good in quantitative techniques. It will naturally help you, but that doesn't imply that if you are not good in maths, then you cannot score good in your quantitative techniques part. Okay, so let us discuss that how we are going to deal that. So first part, let us see for logical reasoning. Okay, logical reasoning, as you have seen from, if you have seen, let's say, last 5 to 10 years papers, you will see that CAT's pattern has drastically shifted from you can say non-verbal reasoning or figure based question, or simple questions of blood relation, or you can say alphabet series, or you can say coding decoding, to the more what you can say, the more diverse, or you can say more tough part of statements, arguments, conclusion, or you can say verbal reasoning. Okay, so that part may be tricky, and maybe one should feel that this is the correct answer, whereas your friend or some other people, they feel that this should be the correct answer. Okay, so what we should do, let's first break down the syllabus, and then we'll talk it one by one. Okay, now see, in logical reasoning part, the total weightage is 20%. The total weightage is 20%, and mostly questions are asked from passage based. Mostly questions are asked from passage based information, or you can say passage based paragraph, in which they will give a certain number of information, and you have to judge your answer, and you tick your answer based on that information. Okay, now see, already in English you will be reading comprehension, isn't it? Already in English you will be reading comprehension. Already in your legal aptitude you will be reading a lot of things. If you see the CLAT paper of past year only, you can see it's a very lengthy paper. Okay, so if you just read it, it alone will take 40 to 45 minutes. Just read, nothing to solve. Okay, now to read so many passage in time, you must have a good reading speed. See? Or if you have an average or moderate reading speed, you should work on that. How should I increase my reading speed? How should I read more sentences in less time? This is point number one. And point number two is how to extract the information from that given passage in a limited amount of time. Okay, that we will see in our class. Now, regarding the first part, you can say it's a matter of practice. Okay, reading speed and fluency of reading, it's a matter of practice. Okay, if you are in a habit of reading, you will read fast. If you are not in a habit of reading, you will read slow. Okay, now to increase speed, there is no master technique, there is nothing like that sort. What you have to do, you have to take a newspaper, you have to take an article, and you have to read it. Now it's a better practice to keep a pencil or a pen at hand, and you can mark all those special areas where some particular information or some important information is given. Okay, that you can mark, and you can try to minimize that, the time taken to read the whole passage. Okay, now what we should do in these cases, ideally if you read 2 newspapers a week, not a day, a week. Okay, if you read 2 newspapers a week, I think that will probably do away with your reading part. Okay, reading will not be a problem, and also make it a habit to write down or to accumulate all the new words that you are encountering while you're reading. Okay, that is a good practice to practice vocabulary part, and also it will help you in understanding the passage better. Okay, now let me be very frank. The passages which you will be provided and the set of questions that will follow, that will not be so easy to clear in first reading. Okay, that will not be so easy that everything in the passage is clear in your first reading. Okay, it may happen that you have to read it twice, or maybe in some cases thrice, to get a clear idea of what they are saying. Okay, so be very handful that you are going to take 40 to 45 minutes of your examination time in reading alone. I'm not talking only for this logical reasoning part, I'm talking about all the comprehension or passage based question that they are giving, including English section, legal aptitude section, and so on. Okay, now, so you must have a good reading, you must have a good reading set, you must have a set of skills to know that okay, this is the passage given, it may be approximately 250 to 300 words. You should read this passage at a maximum of say 2.5 to 3 minutes time, not more than that. If it is more than that, then you have to work a little harder on this. Okay, the second part is accumulating information while reading. Okay, now what is this part? See, whenever you are reading, suppose you are reading a sitting arrangement, or suppose you are reading a puzzle based information. Okay, so what you will do, you will form small notes. You will form small notes whenever you get a hint. Okay, say for example, they are saying in a sitting arrangement problem that A is sitting third to the left of B. A is sitting third to the left of B. Now, if A is sitting third to the left of B, instead of writing this statement, that will be no use. What I will do, I will try to remember this in a pictorial manner, so that if I see the picture, it must give me a clear idea of what the statement was saying. Okay, so A was sitting third to the left of B. Suppose B is sitting here. A is sitting third to the left. That means A should sit here. Okay, and so this is the type of short information that I am talking about. Okay, and the content of passages, if we talk about the content of passages, they can be based on sets, they can be based on news, from which you have to draw some conclusions or assumptions you have to follow. There can be also some diagrams, there can be also some relationship problems, and not that type of relationship means either blood relation problem, or you can say order and ranking problem, these sort of problems. Okay, and others. Okay, and this is the quants part. If we see the syllabus, for reasoning ability, you can see mostly they are focusing on only this part. If you see the past 2 year papers, mostly they are focusing on this part, but that doesn't mean that you are going to not study these parts. Okay, because it may happen that they ask a question from order ranking. Okay, It may equally happen that they ask a question from seating arrangement mixed with blood relation or say dice or direction. Okay. Yes, on direction sense, on direction test also there can be questions based on puzzles. Okay. So if we break down the whole syllabus, what we are getting, see, if we break down the whole syllabus, what we are getting, see, so if we break down the whole syllabus, the first topic is alphabet test. Okay. Now what are alphabet test? In general, what will be given? In general, a series will be given with some alphabets. A series will be given some alphabets, or a number of a string of numbers mixed with alphabets they will be given, and there will be certain conditions that need to be satisfied. They will given that problem, and you have to base your answer based on that conditions. This is alphabet test. Okay. What is blood relation? You all know. Okay. What is blood relation? The blood relation is a very important topic. Okay. And you all know that there are four major type of blood relations. Okay. There are four major type of blood relations. Say if A is male, what I will do, I will write A in a box and put a plus sign above it. Okay. If A is female, what I will do, I put a circle around A and put a minus sign against it. Okay. Now if we solve the problems, you will see how we are using these signs. Okay. And how we are forming the generation tree. But for blood relation, you must be very comfortable in forming the generation gap, or you can say family tree. Okay. Or you can say family tree. Okay. Calendar, these are some direct questions they ask in the examinations. Coding decoding is a very interesting topic. Okay. You have to practice at least 20 to 50, at least I should say 20 to 30 good amount of questions in coding decoding. Okay. For dice and direction, they both have small chapter, but the concepts are very important. They will be helpful for you in solving the puzzle based problem if any puzzle comes from direction test. Okay. Input output, not so important, I will say. Order and ranking, very important. Sitting arrangement puzzles, very important. And clock, okay, moderately important. Okay. So the chapters which are very important, I have put double mark on them. Okay. I have put double mark on them, and the chapters we are not so important. Okay. We can avoid them at a first reading, but if you have time, then surely read it. Okay. Now coming to this part, there is no hard and soft rule about assumption. Okay. About an assumption, conclusion, or course of action. But remember, these are some basic points which will help you in getting the right answer. Okay. If there is any statement which strongly opposes the organization or a government's move, that should not be your conclusion or assumption. Okay. Why? Suppose a state's policy is that the state is going to ban, say, liquor. Okay. For example, Gujarat and many other states are now implementing it. Okay. And also Bihar is also coming in that list. Okay. So if a state bans liquor, so there may follow a set of conclusions. Okay. The first conclusion, suppose they are saying that liquor is bad for health. Okay. Second conclusion, they are saying that government is not getting enough tax, so government is now trying to wipe out this whole industry. Now see, this second statement is a very strong one, and it gives a negative sense to the affirmative actions done by government. So obviously option B should not be your answer. Option B should not follow in conclusion or in assumption. Okay. So any negative enigma that a question is giving either in statement and assumption part or conclusion part or course of action part, that should not follow, that should not happen. Okay. There are some basic principles, basic guidelines. There are a set of 4 to 5 principles more which we will discuss in our sessions, but in today's class we are just trying to reconcile that what are important, what we must do, and what we can do it later, not after exam, but okay, that will be a second priority. Okay. So this is about reasoning ability. This is about reasoning ability part. Okay, now if we come to the quantitative techniques part, what we can see. Okay, so if quantitative techniques part, the total weightage for quantitative techniques is 10%. Now you can ask, sir, I am not good in maths. You can argue, okay, I am not good in maths, and still I am not going to understand what the question is saying. So can I leave this 10%? Yes, you can. It's completely your choice. It's completely your freedom of choice what you want to retain and what you want to leave. But you have to keep in mind that this is a competitive examination. This is a competitive examination. This is not your board exam that you will pass. Even if you perform moderately, you will pass. It is not like that. If you want to get admitted in top colleges, then you will face tremendous competition by your fellow students or by your, you can say, friends also. Okay, so in that cases, if those students, if they score 8 or 9% out of this 10%, including what they are scoring from others section, then you will be at a complete disadvantage if you don't focus on this 10%, because this 10%, I will say, they are free marks. Generally 2 or 3 passages will be given, and approximately the number of questions will be 12 to 14, maybe 15 or 16 also. So these 14 to 15 marks, they are very loose hanging marks. Okay, they are not some deep concepts in calculus or you can say trigonometry. They are just simple algebra and some amount of arithmetic also. Okay, so I will strongly suggest, don't leave this 10%. Don't leave this 10%. Okay, now what are type of questions that are asked? The type of questions that are asked are fact based or propositions based or graphs or other textual or pictorial diagrammatic representation. Okay, so if I tell them, if I enumerate them short, there are some diagrams or tables which you must know. First are the table charts. Okay, second is pie charts. Okay, third are, second is pie charts, table charts. Third are, you can say block charts. Fourth are radar graphs. Fifth is missing or mixed data interpretation. Okay, so these are some important topics. These are some tables which you should prepare. Okay, now two more things: line charts and bar graphs. Okay, they are not so frequent. In exam. If you want, you can leave. If you want, if you can see, you must. If you can see, you must cover these topics. Okay, because in case if this appears and you don't know, you have no clear idea what they are saying, what is the demand of the question, that you will be at a somewhat disadvantage. Okay, so let's move to the next part. This we have discussed for reasoning ability, and now about quantitative techniques. Okay, so what about quantitative techniques? Now see, in quantitative techniques, you can see there are so many chapters. But you should not focus on all these chapters. Okay, for example, you can totally forget about geometry, trigonometry, mensuration. In the last year, they have asked questions from mensuration. You cannot omit that. Charts, permutation combination, probability, set theory. Okay, now these are some basic chapters from arithmetic. They all are not new chapters, they all are old chapters. Percentages, profit and loss, ratio proportion, mixture allegation, time and work, pipe and cistern, time, speed, distance, trains, portal strings. Okay, these three can be covered at a one. These three can be covered in one time only. Okay, and simple and compound interest average. So one side this is arithmetic portion, and on other side they are saying about advanced maths portion. Okay, and on the other side they are talking about advanced maths portion. Okay, now what you have to do, what they will do actually, they will give a chart or a caselet, you can say. Suppose a paragraph is given in which some mathematical operations are given, then that will be called caselets. That will be called caselets. So caselet will be given, and based on that caselet 3, 4, maybe 5 questions can be set on that particular problem. Okay, so that is why the number of problems decrease rapidly. The number of problems decrease rapidly from logical reasoning to quantitative aptitude. Okay, I hope this much be clear to you. I hope this much be clear to you. Now come out the books and study material which you should employ to study this type of chapter. Okay, first I must recommend that we means Manula classes, we provide all the study material in the updated format. All the study material in the updated format at a very nominal cost. Okay, so you can WhatsApp us or call us at this number, and if you want to join, if you want to join the new batches, you should just post here. Okay, you should just post here in the chat, and they will find you and contact you. Okay, okay. And one more thing that I want to say regarding this slide is that our admissions are now going to be opened after this 2 years of COVID pandemic. We will be offering 1 year course and 2 year course, and for total enrollment and better information you can call us at this number. So thank you so much.